Hi, and welcome to the Assembly Lines Podcast. I'm Chris Torrance. I just got an exciting package in the mail. Let's see what's inside the HackerBox. We're going to do an unboxing video of HackerBox number 47 called Old School. I'd never heard of HackerBox before, but somebody posted it on Twitter and it looked really interesting. So the whole concept of HackerBox is each month or so you get this box full of interesting goodies and they all have a different theme. For example, there's ones on CircuitPython, there's another one that was on Wi-Fi, another one called Falcon's Maze, which I'm really curious to see what's in that one. Another one about PIC chips. The HackerBoxes are made by a company called Crate Crew, which are a bunch of academics who decided to make these boxes for hands-on education. According to their theme, they curate products for exploring creativity, science, and technology in the pursuit of happiness. Let's see what we have inside HackerBox number 47. Which is the old school HackerBox. So every HackerBox has a certain theme to it, and obviously this one is old school. So first of all, we have a HackerBox USB stick, and the instructable for this HackerBox talks about installing Ubuntu onto a USB stick and having it be self-booting off of that. And the next parts are for the old school VGA PC. So this is a board that lets you plug in a keyboard. So there's the mini DIN keyboard adapter. This is a PS2 adapter. And here's the 15-pin VGA socket along with some header pins. And then it also comes with a micro SD card reader. Along with the SD card is a micro SD breakout module that you can use for various projects. And so this lets you hook up that micro SD card to, say, an Arduino or something like that. We have two Arduino Nano boards, and we'll get these out in a minute. So these are used for the old school VGA project. We have a pair of nice wire cutters here. We have a LED kit. So I already have tons of LEDs, but it's nice to actually have all these different colors in this handy box. Looks like you got 5 different colors in both large and small size. Here's the board for the old school VGA PC card. So this is what we'll be inserting everything into. We've got some header wires here just to attach things like LEDs, etc. And let's see what else we got here. Here is a Ubuntu sticker to go along with our USB stick. And then finally, for good measure, we have a lockpick tool. And I'm not exactly sure why this is in here, but I've never actually tried lockpicking, so I thought it'd be just kind of a fun thing to play around with. All right, so that's all the contents of the HackerBox. If you go to their website, there's actually an instructable for every single one of their HackerBoxes. So we can actually go through the instructable for HackerBox number 47, the old school one, and it tells you how to do everything, including playing around with the USB stick with Ubuntu, the microSD breakout module, as well as assembling the old school VGA card. So that seems the most interesting to me right now. So let's go ahead and we'll assemble the board and try it out. Here's everything for the old school VGA kit in the HackerBox. So we've got 2 Arduino Nanos here. We've got headers for those so that they can be soldered into the board. We've got some resistors. We've got the connector for the VGA. We've got a keyboard connector, a little tiny piezo speaker, and that's all we need. Now, rather than solder the Nanos directly to the board, I'm also going to add some headers here so we can plug it in and take them out if we want to use these for other projects. Let's go ahead and test out the Arduino Nanos. So I've plugged it into my computer and you can see it's just blinking. This is pin number 13 here, and this is just the default program that comes in the Arduino Nano. So on my Mac, I've fired up the Arduino development environment, and I just have a simple blink sketch here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll just change the default LED times just to make sure we know what we're doing. I'm going to go under Tools, and I'm going to make sure I've selected Arduino Nano for the board. For the processor, I have to select ATmega 328P with the old bootloader. This is critical. And then finally, for my port, I had a lot of trouble getting this to work, but what I ended up choosing was the WCH USB serial. Of course, if you're on a Windows machine, this will probably be one of the COM ports. So once you've got that all set, you can go ahead and click the upload button, and you can see it uploading. It'll blink. And then now you can see here goes my LED and it's blinking much faster. So now we know that we can upload programs. Let's go ahead and start soldering. I'm going to clean off the tip first with this Weller tip activator here. And this just will get a nice silver tip on there. I'm going to go ahead and start with the flat things first. So there's 4 resistors to go on, and so these are 470 ohms each, so they go on here. So for resistors, there's no positive or negative end, so it doesn't matter which way we orient these, we'll just put them in there. I'm going to clean these a little bit with a flux pen just to get off any dirt from my hands. This just makes the solder flow nicer, and then we'll clean this off at the end with some alcohol. Let's go ahead and solder these. So the trick to soldering is to heat the solder. You don't heat the solder itself, you heat the actual item that you're trying to solder. So you want to heat the little metal post and the wire itself at the same time, and then just add a blob of solder to it. So we'll go ahead and do that. All 4 of these. For the VGA connector, I ended up taking the metal shroud off because that made it a lot easier to get the little pins through, but it was still a real pain. When you're putting the pins in, you have to be really careful to not shove the pins back inside. Alright, so there's our assembled board. We've got everything on there. I didn't bother to put on the 2x3 headers here. Those are just used for programming manually, but we can program using the USB. Now we can go ahead and try out the video on the keyboard and see if we can get this to work. Let's go ahead and try to get Rob Kai's Tiny Basic to work. The instructions for this are also on the same Instructable, although it then points you over to a different one. The first thing that we need to do is load the VGA-X-PC code onto the video Arduino Nano, and I've already done that, so that's taken care of. The next thing is to download and install this Tiny Basic PS2 onto the main Arduino Uno. Now I ran into a problem there where there's some sort of pound define here, and if this isn't true, then it goes ahead and defines Arduino to have the value 1, but some include files expect this Arduino value to have the value of the version. If you try to compile this, you'll just get an error where it's trying to include the wrong header file. So instead what I did is I just changed it to define Arduino 999, and that seems to work fine. So let's go ahead and we'll verify that and upload it to the Arduino. And if everything turns out okay, sure enough, so you can see we have Tiny Basic running here. So the actual BASIC itself, the interpreter is running on the main Arduino Uno, and then it's just sending the signals over to display the VGA over to this video Arduino Uno. And so now we should be able to type in basic programs. So say 10. Okay, so there you go. So you can see we have Tiny Basic running on the old school VGA, and you could imagine taking this and enhancing the Tiny Basic program now that we also have the VGA display. You could also do things like start programming games on this. I hope you enjoyed my review of HackerBox number 47, the old school one, with the VGA card. It was a lot of fun to put together. I had a couple problems getting the program to work, but a little bit of Googling solved that. Overall, I was really impressed with the contents of the HackerBox as well as the Instructable. Full disclosure, I paid full price for my HackerBox. If you're interested in getting one, I'll have the links in the show notes. Also, if you have any comments or questions about the HackerBox or how to get the programs running, please put a comment down below. And finally, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please hit the subscribe button. Once again, thanks for watching.